How's it, guys? The first test is now done against Ireland. Loftus was fantastic. We're going to discuss everything that happened, but most importantly, we're back at Bishop's for another episode of the Boks Office, and we've got live guests. The Boks Office is now open. Taking away the double puffer.
Double puffer.
Take one off. Jeez, bro, you look like you're. Yeah, that's better. Look at that, boy.
Everyone happy?
Yes.
Like Ajax Amsterdam.
It's been cold, guys.
Chaps, welcome back to the Boks Office. Scala,
Shem?
let's talk about after the game. Any beers after the game?
4.
3.
Disappointing.
4 beers.
Let's just get it out there. Why? Why?
We had fear because we did a show yesterday on the Sunday. We had to be on the 5:55, the red eye. Shemi, you were on that same flight.
Why though? Who organized it?
That would have been me. Just trying to take care of my people.
Okay.
The
four
the-
beers.
I had such big fear for the 4 o'clock wake-up call that I had 4 beers and that was it. Straight into bed. But then you also can't sleep because you're so shit scared that you're actually going to miss that alarm.
But you won't wake up. And let's be honest, you didn't look good.
On the show or on the flight?
You know who did not. you know.
Which one? The show hurts me a bit on the flight. I don't care.
No, that's fine.
You know who did not look good is your poor son, Sachaba. The big fella got introduced to life as us. Get into bed at 12, wake up at 4, and then go straight to the R300 We Buy Cars and do a show for 2 hours.
Yeah,
What
Red Bull.
was
You
his
can have a
shape
beer,
like?
that's
What
the
was
thing.
his shape like yesterday afternoon?
Pajamas at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
And yours?
I'll sleep. I have pajamas. Pajamas.
That's our shape, okay? I got home. I mean, what time? I got home at like 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's another flight to Paul, yeah.
And why are you guys laughing? Well, and my kids and my wife, they were still in their pajamas. They never changed. They just stayed in their pajamas all day. It was
cold day.
raining,
When
cold.
John exits Paul, Popsy dances, but
Yeah.
a big party, must have been.
Yeah,
CJ Stander was here last week. He says you're quite a big name there. The biggest.
I don't know.
Pollard, Kubas, Visa, Skalkberger.
But
You're the biggest name in Poly.
No,
really.
it's
the
You're
biggest
going,
by
you're going
far.
for the next election. Jean de Villiers in the
We
middle.
did a function at our school. There's 1,200 people. He introduced me to every single one in that room by their first names.
it's just taking care of your community. I mean, it's not like
vote
you.
for you.
It's not like you who invites 6 guys from Ronnebosch to come to the show.
All the Ronnebosch guys, just put your hand up. Just put your hand up. Everyone from Ronnebosch.
See, it's exactly the same. I might be.
Six gentlemen here.
Sure.
Men of high society, Renaissance men.
But CJ's also big in Paul because, you know, what's the registration number in Paul? Or the,
CJ.
yeah, CJ.
Oh, you chased a 5-year-old out of a shop for stealing.
Is that it?
And you just kept that.
Yeah. And
Shoplifting.
he had to wait for someone else to body check him so you could catch him from behind.
I heard.
And it was in a World
That
Cup.
was the
And it
worst-
was in a World Cup year. So like he
That's
was
the
thinking
worst feeling
injury,
ever.
injury.
Worst feeling ever. I'm in my slops. It's 40 degrees, okay? End of Jan in Paul. So I'm at my mate's butchery. I'm with my wife, and well, I see this oak shoplifting. So now I'm thinking maybe he's just putting it in his bag and, you know, didn't want to pay for like a plastic bag or whatever, and then he'll take, and I see him now. He starts walking out. So now I decide, okay, I'm in my slop shorts. I'm just going to walk over to him, tap him on the shoulder, say, hey, buddy, come on, I saw you do that. Just give it back. All over.
How old was he? Sorry. Okay.
I don't know how old he was.
Maybe
Well,
12.
No, he's 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, but he's not a minor.
Is he fast?
Yeah, very fast.
So when you tapped him, he didn't stand still.
No, I didn't even get to tap him. I just went, hey, when I was about that, and then he goes, bow, he goes. Now you think fight or flight kind of mentality, right? So I'm not going to let him just go. So now I go. I mean, first 5 meters, I'm out of my slops. Now I start thinking, please, knees don't go. Hamstring don't go.
Achilles.
And he goes, everything. You start thinking, what the hell? Luckily, I'm warmed up because it's 40 degrees in Paul, okay?
Yeah.
So the butchery is next to the Binlandse Sake. What do you call it?
Inside Land News.
Home Affairs.
Binnerland.
Home Affairs, yeah. So inevitably there's a queue at Home Affairs, right?
Yeah.
So now people, we're running past and people, hey, John de Villiers. I'm chasing. Eventually, the one like body checks you, I get him, take him back in.
And has anyone since referred to you as the paddle Sir Mike Bollhuis?
Yeah,
Or not?
you like that one. You like that one.
Mike Bollhuis.
You
You guys know Mike Bollhuis is that bouncer? Just Google it.
Keep your community safe. Nice, can't see your eyes.
Mike Bollhuis. You do look like Mike Bollhuis. You see the spiky hair on
The
top.
spiky hair, it's there. It's there.
No, it's fine. Let's move on. Guys, the Bok fans singing. Gee, was the script says, okay, it's in your head. I've got to sing it. Rasi.
Yeah.
How
But
incredible.
sing it then. If the script says
I can't
sing
sing
it,
and I hate singing.
sing it then.
It's in your head.
Oh, you're right, you
In
can't
your,
sing.
Okay,
I can't sing.
No, you're right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
The atmosphere at Loftus, it's always great. I must say the opening, let's say the opening test of the international season, the opening home test, but after a double World Cup win,
Yeah.
it was special there.
And also, like, you know, people often ask, what do we miss about playing rugby? And especially playing test match rugby. The one thing I miss, singing the national anthem.
Yeah.
It's special when you stand there, and it's not that much the singing of the anthem, but, you know, hearing the people sing the anthem. That is always so special when you're standing on the pitch, but you still experience it when you're there in the crowd. And again, on the weekend, the singing of the national anthem was just so
Yeah,
beautiful and so powerful.
Special rendition. And then also, like, when you forget when you go to Loftus, is everyone next to the roads, you're trying to find parking, trying to get into the place. You know, it's
You almost killed like 5 people.
No. That was on the
Let's
way out.
let's talk
No,
through our way.
that was on the way out. Yeah. That
Let's
was
talk-
not on the way out.
Okay, let's talk through that.
Okay, if some guy's driving,
Did you verbally abuse at least 5 people?
it was a taxi driver.
Yeah.
He was going down the wrong way. So I started hooting and I started flashing him. He pulled
And-
over and
and-
opened the window and he went, what? And I went, what? And you also going, what? And I was praying, please, please, I better not step out the car.
Yeah.
Okay, that was one. You helped someone there.
Yeah, then like
someone was parked
someone
across our road. Yeah.
like vertically like that, we have to go straight like that, and they couldn't move, but the person just had to go reverse back, reverse forward, back forward, through. So now I get out, but we've got these oversized jackets that we were wearing. And Jimmy's, don't get out, he's going to get a fright, he's going to think you want to rob him. But we made it.
Do you owe the fans an apology for those jackets we're wearing? I've been called Peaky Blinders,
Yeah.
Boy band.
boy band.
Yeah.
Someone said we look like kids that are still growing into their outfits. There's a couple of ones.
Yeah.
I went for a suit fitting the day before, and then I wanted to take it with, but then obviously I couldn't for I don't know what reason. And then I got to the stadium and the sizes changed.
Yeah. Did the game live up to expectation?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean,
The last
obviously-
15, 20 minutes, it came alive.
I think.
It was tense before that, like most test matches.
I think that both sides started out, especially the Boks, with proper intent, and you know, we played with extra width. You know, the biggest difference
That's
between
Bishop scrumming at the down. Okay.
our biggest difference in our attack was, you know, previous years, if we had that much attacking platform in the beginning, we would have had 70 carries, 70 passes type of eyeball. 80 carries, you know, 80 passes. We made 170 passes in that game. And that's what created our width. So we attacked with more width. Obviously, the game started on a heck of a tempo, and errors do occur. There was a fair few errors. It's also hard to play against Ireland because they push the boundary at the breakdown, and the breakdown is probably the one area where we sort of didn't have it our own way, especially when we got in behind them. You know, they found a way to disrupt legally or illegally our breakdown, or sometimes due to our cleaners not being accurate enough, not targeting the right people, not getting the immediate threat out the way. And then that second half was tense. You could see us, both sides, trying to get territory, waiting for opposition to make an error. And there were such small margins in that second half. You think Kalen Doris being held up, James Lowe try, you know, not awarded for, you know, correct decision at the end, well picked up by the TMO for Ronan Kelly playing it on the ground. But then the big one, you know, James Lowe, the flick back to Cheslin Colby. Is he in touch? Is he
We're
not?
going to discuss that one.
You know, we try to look at it. I don't know which one, and then obviously James Lowe gave him another one back where, you know, he played a ball which you probably should have, off the kickoff, where you probably should have left, and then he had a midfield scrum and the game looked completely different. So the Boks, on the balance of it, probably deserved the win, but also could have gone either way.
It's also it's test match rugby, right? And we speak about the quality of these two teams, and it's been mentioned before that you're never going to get a perfect game.
No.
But it's I think the ability to problem solve in the moment that makes a team a good team as well. And if
Adapt,
and if you think about both these teams, South Africa not getting the advantage and the reward initially from a scrum point of view, finding a way to eventually get it through, through the bench and through a couple of other things as well. But also Ireland on the flip side, I thought line-out wise we had the upper hand initially. Okay, they found a way to get back into that. And also we created a lot of opportunities in those outside channels and caught them off guard a little bit in terms of that initially in the game. They found a way to defend that.
Yeah.
So I think it's the ability for both these teams to adapt and find ways to get the upper hand, and that adds to the drama of the game and the ebb and flow of the game. And it honestly, if you think back now, there were moments in the game that was just, the first 20 minutes totally different to the last 20 minutes of the game, versus, that middle patch in the game as well, where both teams were feeling each other out. The drama of the TMO decisions, disallowed tries, etc., etc. So, did it live up to it? I definitely think that it
Thumbs up both ways.
Yeah.
Before we get stuck into the review of last weekend's game, we asked fans certain questions, and this is what they had to say. Take a look.
Hello guys, since I'm working on this game, on the field, and I haven't had the luxury of having a long lunch, I want to know exactly what you had for your long lunch, even if there's a naughty little secret.
So, Skulk, we were in a bit of a hurry to get here because we were driving from Joburg, so we grabbed some McDonald's. We don't get complimentary meals, so yeah, some Mackie D's.
To Labora Yard, a craft brewery here in Centurion, and we had some good beers there, and also had some pizzas. And now we're heading to the beef field to see what we can grab there.
So this morning I had a Springbok liver for breakfast with lekker slap pap, or what do you call that one, porridge in English in your tail?
So I had putu pop. Lekker Afrikaans putu pop. And I would recommend that to everyone that's here, as well as a beer, along with the putu pop.
Sorry, today definitely a few lamb chops, at least 6, that's like a minimum. And paar Drywors.
If Skulk Burger asked, we had a Steers burger. There's no burger like a Skulk burger.
Which player do you think is going to score the opening try? Doesn't matter whether it's Springboks or Ireland.
The first player that will score first is Faf de Klerk.
So I believe the first try is going to come from a mistake on their side. I think we're going to probably hoist a high ball, and one of our wingers is going to touch it down behind the line.
I was at Simi, so yeah, I think it's going to be a maul try from Malcolm Marks off the back of the scrum, off the back of the maul. So yeah, I'm hoping he's going to add another one to the tally today.
In my opinion, I think Bongi Munangi will put the first try through from a rock at the line out, close to the try line.
Jason Colby, obviously, quick step to the left, easy through.
Do you have any special places for an Irish supporter to go for a quick drink?
CJ, yes, this is for you. Shamrocks, we were yesterday evening, and then also turning tender. We met quite a few Irish supporters. Koi Big, Island Skull.
We've heard about a few bars here in Pretoria. We might go visit some of them after the game. I've heard Stoetbul is quite good. There's a few Hennies around, that's also good.
And there's a Janssen Skilt that I know it's a quite popular spot as well.
So I think the best place is going to be Patstal. Patstal's also always a crowd favourite. So yeah, I think get on over there to have a good night.
Guinness is not everywhere available, especially for your heart, the pain in your heart. So I don't know, maybe go to Brandy and Coke.
I can recommend you go to the hospital. There you will find some nice cold water for all the shock. And after that, you can just lie down for a little bit. They'll look after you very nicely. Thank you.
Chaps, we had two fantastic teams in the first half. We've mentioned how tense it was. Were they placid in the first half? It seemed like there was a lot going on, but it wasn't really ticking over in the scoreboard.
I don't think placid. I think conversion from a Bok point of view, not as good as what they wanted, but then also the defense, scramble defense that the one on Cheslin, really good in putting pressure on that ruck, and a couple of other opportunities as well. It felt as if the Boks had the upper hand for most of that first half and not reflecting on the scoreboard. That I think I can agree with.
So I would say we had complete dominance in the first half. Obviously, they scored an exceptional try when they had the little bridge ball over the top. Dan Sheehan with the thing around his back, and then James Lowe. It's almost like the James Lowe show this bloody game, but like tippy toe and dropped it in for Jamie Osborne, who was exceptional in the game actually on debut. But if it wasn't for Kwagga Smith's 2 blunders, one off the kickoff, one off a 22 dropout, they wouldn't have had any entry into our half. And that was due to us playing a little bit wider, 13 channel and wider. New little setup with Peter Steff roaming in the 15, so to Sia Kulisi, using Kwagga and the tight five in the middle of the field. And then also not overplaying our hand like we always do, not playing in that dead area of the game. And we were very effective in the first half because we got so much momentum on first phase attack. You think Sia Kulisi going over Henshaw, you think Peter Steff, you think the one out the try we scored out the back, but also straight off the back of that, every single attack to Jesse Creel, which, it's the most prominent game he's had attack in a Springbok jumper since in recent memory, and it's because of the way we played.
Yeah. And also, I've said it for so long, I think Damien's got such a good passing game, but never gets the opportunity to actually play that game because we use him so much as a battering ram, and he could, he could certainly show that a little bit more this weekend, and just that one channel wider, creating so much more
One
space
big change for me, we got so many lineouts in the past in that area, like say halfway, just other side of the halfway, Springbok halfway. Yeah. Springbok line out our ball, we would revert to a maul.
Yeah.
And for a long time now, like it's so hard to get any reward from there because the opposition's got time to swim around, the new way of stopping that maul. And you can go forward 5 meters or whatever, but by the end of it, you use it once play, you've got to play it now. And it's so hard to generate anything from that, and especially the player that's deemed to be legal, who survived the initial ruck, not swimming around, even though he's behind the ball. He gets to the rudder, he gets to the 9. It's so hard to generate the attack from it or kick from it. So the fact that we didn't maul there, I think is a big positive for the Boks.
It's also like the more I think about it, and the more you look at the clips from the game, the variety we now suddenly showed on the weekend. If you think about the times that we actually box kicked, kind of that umbrella that's normally created for our chaser to get through, wasn't as strong as it normally was because you need to look at the option of playing. Yes. So your 50 needs to be across a little bit more. So your winger is a little bit more back, and you're not working that hard back. So I think the variety that we now suddenly have creates small little opportunities in other facets of our play that traditionally wasn't there because we were so one-dimensional in a way.
Like we still had that options last year, but it came off the back of a maul and a penalty advantage. Or we played a couple of phases, got a penalty advantage, and there we were more likely to play it out the back, have like that free play, free strike. Now
from penalty, from
an advantage or from a knock-on advantage. Now we're accessing those areas or first phase, or in general play, we're putting it out the back, So 170 odd passes versus what we'll normally have in a game like that at 70.
That's a lot.
It's a big step up.
Is the Tony Brown magic of lineouts? Because I was reading an article saying a lot of his set play moves, their creativity comes from line-out play. Scrum plays, John, I don't know, it's a pretty simple, it's pretty stock standard. You look where the fullback is, which side to attack, left, right, depending on scrum position. But from line-outs, that's where most of the plays came from.
Well, I think he can get more creative. And again, he's been in that position for such a long time now. He knows what to look at. Obviously, he was the coach when Japan, beat Ireland as well in the World Cup in 2019. So he knows what pictures to look at and what the plays would be to exploit the weaknesses in those defensive systems. So I think we'll see a lot of creativity going forward from Tony, trying stuff, and also because it's like, we're so good in phase defense these days. So many guys on their feet, not a lot of guys in the ruck, and the space is minimal. Whereas now, you tighten up your attack a little bit. You try and congest the defense, and if you get that right, then you get the opportunity to take it wide and create more space.
A couple of things for me, like where the Boks was still a little bit I think loss with the TB system is like it's always easier to get space the further you back, because the backfield's got to cover the kicking options, and now with the 50-22, they've got to be honest. As soon as you get closer to the line into the 22, you're attacking against 14 men in the front field, in the front line. So then you've got to be more direct. It's not like you've got to have a transition from being lateral, looking for space. Boks are never going to be lateral, but with width. Then you've got to tighten up, and you've got to find a way how to create chaos rucks, quick rucks. Maybe 1 or 2 rucks can be slow, but then you need a quick ruck, and then you need your backs to relieve the force. So that's where we were weak in that transition. And then just on personnel, like your fly-off with Tony Brown's got to be dominant on the gain line. And I think, don't forget about Hanré Pollard's boot, that happens to everyone. His biggest questions from Tony Brown will be, how effective can he be on the gain line? It's something he has done when he was younger. When he was under 20 or under 19 or played for the Boks in 13, 14, he was dominant on the gain line as a fly-off. He needs to be attacking threat, and I think that's where Tony Brown would like to take Hanré back to. And I think for a player who's a little bit further on in his career, I think that's a great challenge to have, because he has got the skill set to play on the gain line.
So that's talking behind the pod, staying flat when you get over the game.
Be alive, be an option, but also be a threat. Don't be lateral, because in the past we've seen when the Boks have attacked maybe with him, it's long passes and it's lateral passes, turning your shoulders early. This is going to be turn the corner around that pod, or even having the old magic right in front of the pod and come alive, and then play straight, direct options.
Yeah. Tell me, Gibson Park, missed by Ireland. Big loss?
Yep.
Could they feel it on the weekend?
I think so. But again, I think we said it in 2 episodes ago on Boks Office, in that Craig Casey allows you more of the same, more of a Jamison Gibson Park-like player than O'Connor, who is more of a tactical 9, I would say. Casey's really quick onto the at the rucks, getting the ball away. The disallowed try from Lowe.
Yeah.
From James Lowe, it would have been a typical Jamison Gibson Park play as well.
Accessing the blind.
Accessing the blind, being open there, and seeing the opportunity. It's difficult, really, to say what you miss from a player like that, because their decision making is just so good. It's not the big plays; it is every single time they touch the ball, they make the right decision.
Yeah.
Where if it's not there, you're not able to say whether it could have been better or not. So I think missed, and Casey probably not playing this weekend either.
Craig Casey, I thought was quite good. That second half where he snapped it, put it on his left foot, got the 50-22. How he accessed the blind once through James Lowe. With Gibson Park, you just see it more often. He's got the ability. We've got a rush. It's hard to attack against us, but he's got the ability to access James Lowe on that blind so often. Yeah. He doesn't fear the intercept. He pulls that little face ball out the front. Look, I mean, for me, not only about the scrum, but that second half try, Conor Murray's try, set play from Ireland off a goal line dropout. Caelan Doris carries it up, and then it's all forwards. It's all tight forwards.
It was 4 forwards and plus Crowley out the back.
Out the back.
Frawley. I think Frawley was on then.
Crowley.
But Beelum, Cian Healy, Ronan Keller, Tyke Byrne, they were the playmakers. And so often, if you like in our defensive line, we had Steenekamp and Malcolm Marx on the ball, Steenekamp on the inside runner, the trail runner. And they run a little center swap, well, a prop swap in the middle. I mean, it's just a thing of beauty. Because so often, if it goes to the loose head there, or what was he, replacement tight head there, you're expecting a ruck.
Yeah.
And the fact that he runs to the line, does the little pass inside is exceptional.
I'm surprised you didn't go on about Munster when you spoke about Craig Casey. Just saying. It's the first time you don't...
Munster didn't play on the weekend.
It's like Justin Marshall and you ask him All Black selection, and it's 5 Crusaders.
Sorry, is this Munster kit back?
Yeah, that's what is that the old issue there? More Munster guys in the Irish team.
Is there a question in all that?
Kwagga Smith, guys, look at his numbers here. I know he had 1 or 2, 17 carries, 6 more than anyone else.
Yeah.
You guys are saying it's shocking, but his numbers. Is he the guy to fill the drain for
No,
Milan?
we didn't say it was shocking.
Yeah.
Like he's
No, someone, yeah. It wasn't a Ronnebusch guy.
No, it wasn't.
Someone,
Oh,
one of the
well,
other guys.
I mean, every single time he caught it, which he got stripped once and he dropped the two in the air. And like we said that before, he's not natural number 8. Like he's not natural a player under the high ball. So you've got to play him almost like towards the ball, like an open sider, which he is. But like, I mean, his carries and how effective he was in his tackle fight, we all know about. Like he was outstanding, bar the big errors. And unfortunately, like James Lowe was outstanding, but he had 2 massive errors, and those massive errors cost Ireland 14 points, and Kwagga Smith's errors cost the Boks 22 entries.
I don't think you judge him on one game, in terms of whether he's the answer at 8. And I still think that his contribution to that performance was still huge and positive.
He got involved. He didn't shy away even after
you're going to make mistakes. That's going to happen, and certainly he's not going to be proud of that.
And
but
he's going to be in the 23 every time we play.
Oh.
He's got a starting role now, but we know, like, say for example, if one of our renowned 8s are fit and he's coming back, or even a youngster gets the opportunity, Kwagga's there. He's going to play 45 minutes.
Yeah.
35 minutes of every test match he's involved in. They're not scared of bringing him on early because his impact is vast.
But in terms of speaking about 8, it will be interesting to see what selection they go with for that Portugal game, for next week's Portugal game, and if a Cameron Hanekom comes into play. Because at this stage, you still have Ivan Roos there.
So the 8s are Ivan Roos, Pepsi, and Cameron.
Cameron's not in the group, is he?
I'm not
because he was injured.
Yeah.
Because he's injured. So I don't think he was announced in the group, which will be a pity if he's not.
How long has Jasper Wiese got left on his suspension?
Isn't
He
it
got
5
6 games. 6 games. It was
With
the
games or-
semi-final. No, I think it's 6 games.
6 games, okay.
Yeah. So he'll be
So was
back
it 4
rugby
left?
championship.
No, 3 left.
Wales,
Yeah,
Wales, Ireland, Portugal, final. That's 5.
Yeah.
5.
I don't.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what's that giving us? 3 more weeks?
I don't actually know.
Okay, all right.
But it's
But is it? I mean, Jean, you've played centre, wing. You've covered a lot of position in the back sculler, same as loose forwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it? Good thing you didn't play flower for Chiefs.
They tried to.
The backs would have seen the ball.
Listen, I played a trial game where Jake White said, "No, he's our next flower."
I played that trial at.
How's his kicking game?
So the kickoff back then, thankfully, you could have one of those, those towers, those high cones, like also the rugby league.
At the Brumbies, yeah.
And then obviously John just came and did one of these toe pokes up in the air. But that's the only kick he did. The rest of the time it was I was cleaning rucks. I did like 100 rucks.
No,
was this as reserve flower or Jake Portugal?
2004, before the Ireland Test match.
Yeah.
The one where Ronan O'Gara scored the try when.
Yeah, the one in Dublin. Yeah.
Jaco van der Westhuizen was
Broken
meant
finger.
to play Flav, but he was selected at Flav, but then he was injured, semi-injured during the week, and there was doubt whether he would start. I was selected on the bench, and the backup I would have started at 10.
Oh, cheapers.
And we might have won then.
Yeah, I did.
Wasn't Butch on tour?
I can tell you what, the wind was blowing about 60 kilometers an hour.
I remember that game, yeah.
He would have missed the ball, okay, if he dropped it, because I did
But
an exit carry, yeah.
Monty was kicking in any case.
John's captain. We're playing here against we have Super Rugby, wet evening game, 7 o'clock kickoff. It's like similar to this. So like it's not ideal here in Cape Town to play rugby. We've had a average first half, so John's giving us the right act, this thing, but he's now spraying, like all this glue around his arm. He's got the gloves was gone. The trend stopped by then. Anyway, we catch the kickoff. It's a bit of a messy exit. I'm in the bottom of the ruck and I roll it back, and Peter Grant is in the ruck with me. So now I'm standing, this little thing is standing there in the 22. And I'm chuckling already because I know we're going to have another exit ruck soon. And he's standing there, and as he catches it, he sprayed so much of this glue, the ball got stuck to his hand. And as he dropped it, the ball moved like this. He kicked it backwards. We were defending a 5-meter line out straight off the kickoff.
So obviously you want to kick the ball. So I take it.
We're going for the torpedo.
There.
And I was laughing at him, and he didn't speak to me for 20 minutes in the second half. He was like...
Guys, quick one. The big moment, I think it's actually been discussed now with, is it Matt Williams, the Aussie guy in that saying about the bomb squad, Scala.
I mean, he's like a broken record. I think I've heard the story.
Is he now saying it again?
Yeah.
No, I don't know that. It's not in the spirit of the game or something like that.
He said there's something about player safety.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't, by playing 50 minutes or by playing 80 minutes, you can't guarantee a player's safety. I mean, you can get injured in the first.
And any team they can choose whatever bench you want.
Are there any
but the
rules?
only thing that has to be is the front row.
Are there any?
The full front row.
Yeah, you got to have a full front row.
Yeah.
The rest you can have on the bench, whoever, whatever you want, and bring them on whenever you want, right?
Yeah.
So those are the rules we play.
We're playing the rugby rules, and we are fortunate that we've got a lot of depth. I think the greatest pool of depth on an international level about the Springboks we've ever had.
Yeah.
And there's more players to come back to Mr. Williams's agony. You know, imagine a Louis de Jager comes back. You know, Jasper Wiese is about to go through his. You know, Damien Willemse comes back.
Steven Kurtzhoff.
Steven Kurtzhoff comes back, and that's only going to enhance our squad depth. So yeah, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. I think, if anything, in the years going forward, for player safety and more stringent HII rule,
HIA.
Whatever, help me out there. I think the squads will get bigger. You know, we go to 25 players or so.
Like a football bench, basically. That's
football bench.
Yeah, then you
I don't know.
Whoa, you go what? You go the full pack.
Well, I mean, Rassie will go with a 9-1 split then.
Don't you think the team then, just for the sake of interest, the team should be announced like football 2 hours before the game?
That'll be cool.
To announce, if they announce the squads, the playing team, it's 2 hours before kick. You announce your squad on a Thursday.
Shemi, as a commentator, how the hell are you going to remember the names? But
when are you going to remember the names when Georgia plays Portugal in the World Cup?
We'll figure it out.
Rassie's,
2 hours to prepare.
Rassie's doing it not to satisfy his players or his squad. He's doing it for you.
Yeah.
Announcing his team on the Monday.
Guarantee that's not the case. But you were there obviously doing on ground zero there. The crowd, it gave the crowd energy though. Once you look at all those 6 forwards coming on.
Yeah, I was doing the subs, and I promise you, John, you've obviously done it before, but it's the hardest thing in the world to go like, listen, the Boks are bringing 6 new faces on, and then trying to work out who the hell's coming off. I mean, it took me about 10 minutes to decipher 6.
It's easier to say who stays. The whole pack has been replaced except for Peter Steph du Toit and Kwagga Smith.
100%. I mean, but like, that's what we do. And like, I mean, other teams, you see it often. Say, for example, Ireland, Porter goes deep, so too does Furlong.
Yeah.
And where it becomes hard for them is like, we go 45 minutes, we empty, pretty much the entire bench. That's how much we back our squad system and our players and our versatility that we've got. So I think we're a trendsetter in that regard, but we've been for a long, long time under Rassie.
Yeah, but chaps, everyone goes on about the bomb squad, but you remember when Nick used to have Ollie on the bench, swap the hooker. Bobby came on and changed a lot of games. I think Franco came on, Andrew Aiken came on. So there has been changes. Steve Hansen did it with Farmer Wiener.
Yeah.
It was Andrew Hoare came on. I think Victor Vito used to come on and loose forward.
Exactly, but think of Damien McKenzie. Damien McKenzie and Bowden Barrett.
So it's not a new thing. The issue is the fact that it's 6 forwards, and that's where this whinge comes from. But the rules are the rules. We're sticking to them, and if it works for us, then it works for us.
Yeah. As long as it works
waiting for Paul Jim to have a 7-1 split or something.
They need to keep the rules
then we're gonna
as they are, as long as it works for us.
Then we're going to complain. Paul Jim with a 7-1 split against Bishops this weekend.
No, it won't happen.
What, they won't need it? Is that what you...
No, I'm not going to.
Be careful what you say in this room. Guys,
Setting our BT.
okay, the TMO was a big thing. I think Rory Best has gone, saying the decisions could have gone the other way. I think, Skylar, you said that Keller, that Lowe try in Dublin, it's a try.
Yeah.
What's your take on it, chaps? James Lowe, good 80 minutes, well, 0-0 in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'd say like that whole second half's pretty much about him, eh? But, in Dublin, look, the first one, Ronan Keller, it's wrong. You know, like, he had a chance to hook it back. He goes off his feet. Is there a neck roll? Is Bundy Aki on his feet in the first instance? He rolls over. I don't think, the officials, Luke Pierce was the most clear at the breakdown, nor the scrum. It wasn't the best officiated. And then there is these areas in our game where if you go look at every ruck, probably every ruck has an infringement, but it's about like where does it fit within the game. So that's what makes it tricky. look, he was off his feet. He played the ball when he's hooked it back when he's off his feet. He's got to regain to his feet before he can take part of it. But yeah, like I think we got lucky with a couple of calls. But in saying that, nothing takes away Cheslin Colby's work rate to be in the position for James Lowe flicking the ball back. You know, the stuff that he does off the ball, and it's not only him, this is entire box side. You know, like you think of Kalen Doris's disallowed try where it didn't touch the deck, where it got held up. Salman Murat comes out the previous ruck. So too does Malcolm Marks. He's in for the try. Malcolm Marks eventually scoops it up with his right hand. You know, those margins doesn't happen just because they happen. They happen because of players doing stuff that's not asked of them. You can't judge Cheslin for not chasing the ball in 100 and missing touch, but he was chasing it. He nearly had a charge down on Crowley's conversion. And then the same, when James Lowe touched the ball, carried back into his goal line and then knocked it and then got charged. Who was chasing 60 meters down the field? Cheslin.
I think that kind of epitomizes this, you know, even when Rusty speaks about the dog that they have within the squad, it epitomizes the way that they play and you know, they speak about the hope and all of that, but seeing stuff like that, and it's not just Cheslin, you know, as you say, it's a whole squad, because those are the things that you probably don't get measured on. You know, it's easy to measure how many tackles, how many carries, how many rucks, etc. But it's working off the ball and doing it time and time again, game after game, no one noticing it. But then the one time you do it and it works for you because he throws the ball back or because you charge it down, then suddenly people notice it. But we can probably go back to how many other kicks, and you'd see the same. You'd see Cheslin there, but the impact is just not there. Yeah. If he's not there, we're not saying anything, and he's not a bad player then. Yeah. But because he is there, that is why they won the game by 7 points.
Impressed by Jamie Osborne?
Yeah, he was good.
Big time. Yeah, I thought he was good.
It's an impressive player. So he missed the one kick where he was right up on touch, and then he touched it and it went out, and South Africa got the throw. But bar that, he didn't really make any mistakes. And to think that it's a guy making his debut at fullback with a kind of
played fullback before. I remember him as a centre the whole time.
Yeah, well, he played centre for Leinster.
Played centre for Leinster.
Yeah. And also, so Calvin Nash hasn't played a hell of a lot of games either. He's a nice
little wing.
Yeah, you know, good wing, and obviously you have the experience with Lowe, but you know, for Osborne at altitude, at Loftus. Intimidating venue to play, ball travels a little bit further, you know, all of these things. You know, he was solid in the air, covered the space at the back, options from an attacking point of view, scored the try. Yo, I'd be happy with a debut like that.
Like I did a game, Leinster versus I can't remember who, and I was just running through the stats, and he was leading the line breaks, offloads, and running meters for Leinster. Now, like obviously Leinster has a high turnover of players. You know, it's not like they have James Lowe play every weekend, because he'll probably be the running meter buster. But no, he was impressive for me.
And then, sorry, another guy we need to talk about.
You don't have to say sorry, Shami. I mean, this is just.
What the question? I'm talking loud. I'm not always talking to you. Sometimes you talk to yourself.
Yeah,
that's a very dangerous.
How would you sum up James Lowe's game, the 80 minutes he had? Because some magical moments. Look, that kick where obviously the scrum penalty try came from. He lets that go. That roll's dead. With a lot of time to go, it's a scrum halfway island ball.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I couldn't believe that he actually decided to go for that, because that thing was hit like flat.
Yeah, you can almost read it in the air when it's coming like that.
And I mean, that would have still be rolling, I think, past Eastwoods as we speak.
Hatfield somewhere.
It's the impact of the rugby ball again. It's still a risk letting it go.
I mean, it can just stand on its end and be in the air.
And bounce back.
And Cheslin scores another one.
So I mean, I still think he has an impact on the offload, you know, the disallowed try, the offload for the first try, offload for both the tries.
Both the tries. The try that was disallowed, little goose in the fin on Henry Pollard, you know, both times where he set the try up, I mean, once bounced or rode Cheslin's tackle, Cheslin was fully committed. The other time he would like sort of faked the goose and stepped inside Cheslin and then got the offload to bed.
Ability to get the ball away.
Yeah, and like when we were younger, like you played against the
We're
Polynesian.
still young, Scala. We're still young.
We played Super Rugby against the very much younger.
Younger.
Yeah. we played against the New Zealand side of old with the big Polynesian wingers, and the ability to hold the ball up and keep people busy, occupy them in that 15-meter channels. 3-4 of us still get the offload away. We later then on got wingers ourselves who can do that. We can do it still now with smaller wingers with a different skill set. But like it is something special to behold. And like James Lowe in those spaces, in the 5, in the 15s, he's magic.
Is Pollard under pressure this week, considering the kicking? Look, there's a thing with you look at Damien McKenzie with New Zealand. Didn't have a good day at the boot.
Yeah.
Marcus Smith gets all his kicks. I think England probably win that game, or maybe.
Well, he
missed. They draw to win it.
He missed a really. I think his first kick of the day was straight in front. He missed it.
But Jack Crowley missed it.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't. Pollard, the kicking pressure is it there? Was this just it was unusual for us. I mean, we were shocked.
Well, I think the pressure is always there.
Yeah.
When you're a kicker, the pressure will always be there. It happened on the day, for him. New day, new game. Is he starting? So is he definitely starting?
Pollard.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The irony.
Team out.
The irony.
No, but I mean.
Okay, I'm just throwing it out there.
That's my opinion.
I'm just throwing it
Why are
out
you
there.
attacking me? Hold on. Yeah, he starts surely.
The irony of it is, I mean, in Dunedin, where the wind can howl, they play in a closed stadium, the Forsyth Bar, indoors. Goal kicking performances are terrible. We come to Loftus, it's perfect. I mean, not a breath of air. A little bit chilly maybe for those of us who's not used to being in cold, rarefied air, but like perfect conditions. Now you go to Durban, or they go to Auckland, places where we've been before, where the wind goes sideways, the rain comes from the bottom, like it's the harder place to go kick, and he'll probably have 100% kicking record on that.
What's the weather prediction for Durban? Come on, one of you guys can jump there on.
Very warm at the moment. Yeah.
No, but not today. Saturday.
Which means it's going to rain on Saturday.
Yeah, no, I haven't checked the weather, but it's very warm, and the guys on the ground says it's likely to be like it the whole week.
Okay, cool.
He doesn't have data, that's fine.
So at 65 minutes, 3 tries, 2 yellow cards, 1 penalty try, a late game flourish. The game needed that though at the end though, but do you think that the scoreline suggests what happened during the game? Was it as close as we thought it would be?
I think so, yes, because I think the Boks could have won by a far bigger margin.
Yeah.
But I also think we could very easily have lost the game.
Yeah.
If you go back now. So is a 7-point win a fair reflection? I think at the end of the day it is, yes.
I think on the stats there's no difference between the two teams.
Two teams, yeah.
Straight after halftime, for the 15 minutes between that and the late 50th minutes, we had so many 22 entries without any outcome.
Return.
Even the penalty we got off the back of that Henry missed a couple. So we didn't actually get out into that comfort zone where we had scoreboard pressure, we 2 scores in front. And maybe then we'll see our Springbok team play with a bit more freedom. But because that scoreboard pressure was there and Ireland then got a foothold back into the game, we entered into game management. Like we were managing, not making errors in our own half. And that's where the game became super tactical. But we saw exactly the same with the All Black England game. That game, first half, was so fluent. It was moving so nicely. And second half, both sides was going, okay, who's not going to make the mistake? Because it's test match rugby then.
That middle earth area. Box kick.
Box kick. Let's not get caught behind the gain line. Let's not get a turnover. Let's not make stupid errors. And then it becomes that test match arm wrestle. And unfortunately for us, we made too many errors, either defensively or discipline-wise in that second half. So, I mean, there was nothing in that game.
Do you think either team will change tactics for the second test?
I think Springboks probably be a little bit more direct.
And like
I thought we went wide. We caught them. They'd obviously get used to it. Now it's time to punch a little bit more and look to dent them a bit and then look to go out wide, I think that's what will probably happen. I don't think Ireland expected Springboks to use the width like that.
I think we'll stay the same, but we'll ask us to execute your skill set on the gain line. So your short options will be alive.
Yeah.
I think even from an Irish point of view, taking personnel into account as well, Casey probably out. Could we see a more tactical game from them?
I think they've got Henshaw might be in trouble. We saw him leave at halftime after taking a big knock, and then
Sheehan.
I think
Sheehan's out for a while.
Yeah, I think he's out for a while because he was
saying ACL, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Rob Herring will come on the bench.
I think for Ireland the start's so pivotal. If they start and they have tempo on the ball and they boss the ball, I think they settle into their rhythm and they put us under a lot of pressure. But this weekend, like the Boks was brave on the ball, especially in that first half. And the whole first half, bar obviously a couple of entries by them, we were on top of them, running at them, asking them questions in their half. And that saps energy. And like you've only got that much energy. So if you spend it in defense, you can't then pitch up and run around and attack, because attack's the harder one to do of the two.
Sean, you mentioned this coming weekend. Can England beat New Zealand? 1 point in at this last one. I thought England are developing nicely, I think, but can they win? Well, New Zealand haven't lost in 30 years. It's not going to happen.
Can England
the odds
win?
will be good.
Can England win? Yes. Will they win? No.
Will they win? No.
Yeah,
No chance. Do they have a chance?
Look, if you go purely by their performance on the weekend, then yes, they do have a chance. I just think history is not on their side in terms of England's only won 2 games in New Zealand in the last 30 years, I think. So 2003 and I think 98 or something like that. So, close to 30 years. So that's not on their side. And also New Zealand in Auckland, they don't lose there.
Like last weekend, I think was their shot at beating them, but scrum got pulverized. Lineout was wobbly. I mean, Alex Mitchell played outstanding. Ben Earl again was incredible, and then Furbank at fullback. He's one heck of a player. But I think also a lot of changes. The first time, Razor's taken over, but the first time that they've had backroom staff change in the All Blacks in a long, long time. Everything is new. Everyone is new. So I think the second week will be a more comfortable week for the All Blacks.
So, okay, New Zealand to win. Joe Schmidt, CJ Stander said he's the only man that could turn Australian rugby around. Only man.
Well, then they need to try to find a woman because he's not chasing. I don't see him changing it around.
I don't see where the power will come from when they play the Springboks, play New Zealand.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the two of you a question. Name one player in that Australian team that becomes part of the conversation in a world team. One player.
Oh, the fact that we think about it means none.
If I had to ask you what's the captain of Australia's name?
Wright from South Africa, Liam Wright.
Yeah, it's McWright, isn't it?
No.
Right.
No, it's Liam Wright.
He's right, you're not McWright.
You're McWrong, yeah.
Fraser, you thinking Fraser
But
McWright?
he was thinking McFlurry and he went McWright.
Yeah.
And
not to
why you guys laughing?
not to have a go at their players. I'm just saying it is very much a team, a developing team. You still have Slipper there, with the experience.
Taniela Tupou.
Yeah, Taniela Tupou, and he actually
does Will Skelton come back?
He's not playing.
He's not still available to play for Australia.
But like Liam Wright went off after 60 minutes. Alan Alatoa takes over.
Alatoa.
Alatoa.
Yeah.
He takes over, and the back line, you have bits and pieces.
Paisami played. But for me, the issue is if you've got young players that you lure across to play, Carter Gordon springs to mind. He's a test fly-off. Played in the World Cup. Okay, World Cup was hard for them. He goes back to rugby league. They've lost another player back to rugby league. So I think Joe Schmidt, if he's the man, he needs time in the seat. This is a project.
Yeah.
This is a rebuilding of Australia rugby as a whole. And they've got to go back to what made them strong when they were strong. In the 2000s, they were incredible depth.
Untouchable that.
And you've got to go back to your Waratahs, Queensland Reds. Where are they? Brumbies. That's your 3 main strongholds. At the moment, a lot of their funding's coming from the Western Force.
Yeah.
So then go develop rugby players out in the Western Force. But they've got to get numbers And without the numbers, it's going to be hard for them to compete against us or the All Blacks or England or Ireland.
You know who is like Tom Wright at fullback? He scored quite a nice try.
Nice player.
Yeah, and
He's
He
fast,
does,
eh?
the problem is he doesn't have much of a kicking game there
Yeah.
against the better teams. When he's under pressure with a little bit of space. Dave Rennie played him there also.
Yeah.
But what does a good season look like for Australia? We fast forward till December now, and we've seen rugby champ. What does it? What
You
does it
need
look
them to be competitive against New Zealand and South Africa. If they're not competitive, and I see them struggling I can't see them beating us, but they need to be competitive. They need to put up a fight, and I think that's what you don't see from this Australian team, and even during the World Cup. You know, they just don't kind of, you know, they don't stay in the fight, and really, you know, it seems as if there's something lost within that culture, in that they're not playing for that pride anymore.
Yeah.
And it's sad in a way, because I struggle to see how they're going to fix it.
I think it can be done, but it's time in the seat, and it starts from ground up restoration. This is not your give it a quick little service for $5,000 at your local mechanic. This is the nuts. This is a nuts and bolts restoration, but so this is going to take time. But I mean, they've done it before, and it starts, for me, it starts with the culture, and then you pick the players who fit into that culture, and then you develop them. So like you can't, what they can't do is they can't get another coach who falls short of his term. You know, like if you
Rennie should have never gone.
If you think Dave Rennie, you know, like they were penalty for time wasting short of winning the Bledisloe
Cup. Yeah.
You know, so you think would that have changed the trajectory? I think yes.
Yeah. Just sorry, with Australia, you look at the Springboks now. Ireland this week. Let's say we get the victory. We've got Portugal, which we should win. Australia twice away.
You say
okay, we will win.
we should beat Portugal.
Yeah, exactly. We should beat Portugal.
Like me and John's working on that game.
Yeah. Enjoy blood.
I think
whatever you do, don't meet Osterant on the Friday night. I flying up on the Friday.
Like he took us to a place called Steffi's.
No, I was there. I thought dinner was the end of the night until he said, "Let's go." And was also
you're there, but you weren't there.
Like I must say, like it was.
I thought the steak was the end of the night. So
it was like one of the best unplanned reunions I've ever been to.
Yeah.
It was like there was a lot of us in that place, but
Van Rootenbach, Ruan, Joan Smith was there. He came out,
and then all the dirties who didn't play, all the Springbok dirties.
Jeez, I'm not there, thank goodness. But on Friday, just avoid us.
Os doesn't live in Bloemfontein anymore.
Where does he live?
Lives in Mossel Bay.
I'll think Bigfoot.
George.
Bigfoot's still there. We'll get Bigfoot, John Smith. We'll get him on town.
He's going to find you after that comment. If he's on social media.
He doesn't have Wi-Fi. It'll be good.
Cool, guys. Okay, cool. So looking forward to next weekend. New Zealand to win. Springboks. CJ Stander very confidently said, Ireland, Ireland will, if they lose the first one, they're definitely winning in Durban.
I think we're in for...
That's the only thing that's giving me anxiety about this week.
I think we're in for a very similar result.
Yeah.
Tight against Ireland.
And the dance in Australia, Wales against...
Geez, Australia was under pressure. Like, I mean, they did disallow try Wales to go 18-all.
Wales,
which would have, I think, put the cat amongst the pigeons, but maybe not good enough.
Yeah, Australia to win, New Zealand to win, South Africa to win. And surprising result. France beating Argentina with a very inexperienced
Argentina was poor. I watched a little bit. You watched a little bit of it. There was in Mendoza. Where are they playing this one?
But if you think about how many players are out for France, you know, it's I didn't expect, and it was quite a big margin.
Old Baptiste Serran. I haven't seen him play for France for a while. They scored a cracker, played beautifully.
No, but the story with him is that he's always been, he's actually the second scrum off after Dupont.
Yeah,
but he actually doesn't want, he said, listen here, I'm not going to sit around here and not get any game time. So that he actually doesn't like being the second choice. So then they went with
Luku.
That's it. That's the reason.
Luku is now playing.
So Baptiste Serran is actually, he's actually the incumbent there. But because he's just not, he can't tolerate having Dupont being the man.
He played beautifully.
He's a good player. Guys, before we look at any of the other main headlines, we've got a couple of questions to answer from the fans at Loftus post-match.
What can we do to beat the Irish team by a larger margin next weekend in Kings Park at Durban?
Score more points.
Look, I can tell you what. If
Tell Andre to kick over.
it's a kicking, but if it becomes a scrum battle, that gives us more territory, and then Ireland won't be able to handle us. Purely because you saw what happened when we had scrums. It was destruction time. So if we get that right.
Yeah, that and 22 conversion.
Yeah.
Our conversion rate when we get into the half.
But also, sorry, Carla.
No, you go.
You've mentioned before the start. We started really well again. If Ireland gets into the game far sooner, then it's a different battle. But if we start the same again, put them under pressure, then it could actually, I think it can go south for them.
Just last one. The energy and I call it the hate or whatever. Is it difficult to replicate? Because last week there was a massive build-up, 6 months, first test. Who's the best team in the world? Bloody blah blah. This week seems a lot more chilled. Look, there's a lot of chirps coming from the Irish side again. Yeah. Obviously it's out of the players. The guys playing music during Craig Casey's, and that's got nothing to do with the Springbok team. That's some guy in the stadium there.
Yeah.
But to replicate that same sort of build-up, does it influence the players?
I think they'll be up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I looked at the demeanor of the players after the final whistle, the interviews we did, all of that. You could see it's not the end of the task for them yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they want to get a result. They want to get a 2-0 result over Ireland. But so too Ireland, they'll be hurting after that. So they'll want to come back. But yeah, this box side, and I think especially Russie's been waiting for this for a long time. So I think the energy will be there. What we need is a further step in the right direction regarding our evolution and our accuracy.
Cool. We've got one more question, guys.
Should Rusty have been allowed to be the water boy during the Lions series? Irish fans are still bitter.
No, but it was 3 years ago. How long was that ago?
Look, we haven't gotten over Paul Honus with that run in Agora.
Yeah.
So it's fine. They can take their time.
Yeah, 100%. Like we'll bring up Rogers' quick tap in 2004. Still haven't. It's too soon. Famous quote by John Smith, apparently. Paul Honus, 10 years after the incident, came to him at a World Rugby Awards and wanted to approach him, and John Smith just gave him the hand and said, "It's too soon, Paul."
I mean, Rusty it's irrelevant. The guy's saying this.
But also, there wasn't any rules in place to say that he's not allowed to be the water boy, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, he was allowed.
But he's at the top there. You can hear him talking. He's talking to the physio, the fitness guy, or someone down there. They relay the message. What's the difference? The Lions relay a message. What's the difference?
Yeah, I mean, we're not playing the Lions on the weekend. We're playing Ireland.
Yeah. So we've got some journalists with us as part of the live audience, the guys that drive the energy, they send the messaging out throughout the week. They're going to ask us a couple of questions. First, we've got Weinberg's finest, Nathan.
Also known as Rent-A-Crowd.
Rent-A-Crowd.
The last time I saw you guys was in Paris. It's nice to see you guys again. Huh?
Can't remember.
Anyway, so my question is...
what time of the day was it?
So my question is, obviously the international season is here for the under 20s. And your guys' prediction and junior box performance and top 2 teams.
What do we need? We need a bonus point against England tomorrow.
In this weather.
And I think there's 45 mils.
They can be playing in wetsuits too.
Tomorrow. And where are they playing? Out at the Donny Craven or Athlone? Athlone.
So the Fiji performance was
highly unlikely that we get out the pool stage. Yeah.
Fiji performance was good. The Argentina performance very, very disappointing.
Yeah, I think the difficult thing is that with look, they spend a lot of time in camp, but I mean we've all played at junior level, and it's difficult when you have a lot of guys not playing URC or playing senior professional rugby, because that does add a different dimension to it. You'll find I think England and New Zealand are probably the top 2 teams. But a kid at Saracens gets loaned out to us, is a championship team.
Yeah.
So he's playing against grown men, playing week in, week out. Whereas a lot of guys spend a lot of time at camp, but they're not playing a lot of rugby. Some of them are starting online now. They're not doing varsity cup yet. So they come up, you're playing against guys that are based. The French team that won last year, I saw Guthrie Steenkamp. All those guys are playing top 14, and some of them are playing Heineken Champions Cup.
And last year, the main fallout that came from it is like we had to get a competition for us to play different games, So we've got a Tri-Nations or 4 Nations equivalent in the under 20s level, like to compete with the 6 nations of the European sides. I guess the disappointing part for us against Argentina was the stuff that you can be good at, the mechanical stuff is what we were poor at. You know, the stuff you see, the box being good, kicking game,
Line out.
breakdown, line out,
Line out,
scrum,
stopping.
maul, you know, the mechanical stuff, the stuff that you can coach and get better at is where we were lacking, and that's very similar to what we saw last year.
Guys, next question.
Mine's for Jean. Jean, as the only back on this panel, given what Matt Williams' words were post-match, he said sending 6 forwards on is the discrimination against the backs. Do you feel discriminated against?
I do not feel discriminated against. Yo, that's. I mean, he's obviously never faced discrimination, old Matt, to know what it feels like. Like the no, it's. I think they're taking this out of proportion, totally out of proportion. You play according to the rules of rugby. You have a framework as to what you can and can't do, and then you find a way to get a game plan with the players you want to eventually win. The Boks do it differently to other teams. It's not discrimination. It's just about playing to your strengths, and we know where the strengths of the Boks lie.
Yeah, it's as simple as that for me. I mean, like if we've got, say for example, Lou de Jager comes back fit. Lou de Jager is on the bench. You know, we're using those 4 locks to win test matches for us. You know, and off the back of that, we get a 6-2 split. You know, so it's, yeah, I don't know what they're on about. Maybe we must share a beer and he can enlighten us.
Hi guys, just a question. You guys touched on it earlier. Just changes coming up for this weekend. Obviously, Shami's already said go with Pollard, but I just have a question to John for that. Would you go with giving Sasha a chance, or perhaps bringing Mani because of the width play now and Tony Brown being there? And then just for Scala, the 8th man, we obviously saw Kwagga not having the best game.
Yeah.
Would you give Evan Roos, because he played well against Wales, he didn't do too bad there. Would you give him a chance, or Pepsi would have put a lazy? So just those 2 questions.
The first question, I definitely won't start with Sasha. I don't think it's the kind of game we want to be starting him. I think they'll definitely go with Pollard. Mani, though, definitely comes into play and into consideration when you look at the way that the Boks are playing now. When you do play with that kind of width, and even if he was on the field on the weekend, he's just such a threat with ball in hand and with his pace as well. You know, it suits him. So the way that the Boks played on the weekend certainly suits Mani. But again, Andre Pollard has been kind of the guy that has proven before in the tight games, in the difficult situations. Yes, you make mistakes, you miss a couple of kicks, but these are guys, are general.
Yeah, no, same trend, yeah. Yes, begin for Kwagga, start Kwagga. Bar is 2 errors or 3 errors. Like he was exceptional when we had the ball. So you give him a couple of extra high balls and you get him to get his elbows closer to each other and get him to catch it with his hands. You know, like, and then he'll be absolutely perfect. On the bench, I think, you know, we can always play around with having the extra loose forward on the bench. So Salman drops out, and then you can bring in like Evan or Pepsi, whoever you deem to fulfill that role. But, you know, like that's for Russ and his team to decide.
I was surprised that they took Evan off.
Yeah.
Yeah, earlier, because he normally goes 80 minutes.
Yeah. Cool. So I won't discriminate against you, Jean. Are you finished? Are you finished? I'll let you finish.
As a private school boy, you know,
no, I'm not private. Rondebosch is not a private school. Rondebosch is not a private school.
Okay. Did you not go to Bishops as well?
For 1 year.
Oh, so you did?
10 months.
So you did go to Bishops.
Is that a Bishop's top you've got on? No.
No, I thought you might say Sasha because you had Bishops, but anyway, we'll forgive you for that one to start. But Pollard's also. Okay. Cool, guys. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. We apologize for not getting you some beers. Next time, you'll get some beers on the Boks Office. Scala, thank you very much.
Thanks, Shem.
JDV, we've gone over a bit now time-wise. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for watching another episode of the Boks Office. We will be back, next week after the second test against Ireland, and look forward to Portugal. Catch you next week. The Boks Office is now closed.